Can you imagine somebody watching our stuff right now is going to be inspired to do something like that, and they can take it to a whole other level?
I hope so. I think the best way to describe it now is like almost like being a recruiter, recruiting talent.
My objective walking out of that interview was to ensure that I ask the questions that I know the community wants to hear asked, right?
Wow, that's not the answer I was expecting. You actually got me genuinely laughing right now. Is $1,000 in one card worth more than $1,000 in 20 cards?
Man, that's tough. It depends on what's your play.
What's up, everybody? This is FD coming live from Burbank Trade Night. There are people. There's a kind of an open kitchen here, making tacos, beef, chicken, pork. There's also pizza being eaten over here. Tables outside. More and more people are arriving here. But we're about to jump into a conversation with a great guest that we've had on before. AIH out of Chicago. Let me bring AIH in. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going, FD?
What's going on, bro?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, for sure. Same here.
What's been doing exciting, man?
Nothing really. I mean, finally baseball's on, so I guess that's a good thing, right? You got NBA playoffs on. I haven't been watching too much, but it's good to see.
Who's your NBA team?
The Bulls, of course, but
Bulls.
They didn't do so hot this playoff, but I didn't expect them to do so well.
Yeah, they had a lot of injuries. When Ball went out, that was a big thing, and then Russo went out, that was a big thing, and then getting some people back. But I think the chemistry of that team is what may need to be worked on. I always ask myself the question about the Bulls is, who is the scorer when the game is on the line?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that DeRozan?
I would hope so, right? I would hope so. But Zach LaVine is like usually sitting over in the corner. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, is LaVine a free agent this year?
I thought he is, or he has 2 more years on his contract. Thought he might be.
Yeah, like DeRozan, I think has 2 more years.
Okay.
I think he signed like a 3-year, $85 million deal. But yeah, I don't know. Like with the Bulls, like they're too reliant on the 3 ball.
Yeah.
They're trying to like all these NBA teams. They're trying to be like Golden State.
Trying to be like Golden State, man.
Yeah, you can't do what Steph Curry's doing. I don't know.
Well, you got Steph out there. You got Clay out there. I mean, you even got Gary Payton II. You got Wiggins. All these guys are really hitting from a high percentage from the 3-point line.
Exactly.
This is why I'm picking Golden State to win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, now they're healthy, so yeah, it makes sense.
The key is going to be what's up with Phoenix when they play Dallas. I think we'll see something there about who Phoenix actually is, who Dallas actually is. We will see. So, who's your team in Cubs, right?
Yeah, of course, the Cubs. It's always the Cubs. I mean, it's going to be a rebuild, so obviously it's not, going to be as hot as it was, between 2015 and 2020. I would say the golden years as a Cubs fan.
You know what's crazy? A stat I saw today coming over here that the Cincinnati Reds have the worst record in baseball right now.
The Reds?
The Reds.
Yeah, I think they got rid of I don't know how much you watch baseball, but I think they got rid of Castellanos, and then they had some good pitching a few years ago. I mean, Bauer used to be with them, but the situation with him right now. But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, the Reds, they don't have a high payroll.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. It is Cincinnati Reds. So what's new in the hobby, man? What have you purchased anything recently?
Yeah, let me pull out some cards.
Yeah, I know you got some heat.
Yeah, hold up a minute.
All right.
So, long story short, this is what I'm mainly looking at. This is like more of a long-term play, but like I look at cards. I've always talked about it that no one else looks at.
Okay.
So, like I'm looking at a lot of like Wayne Gretzky, O-Pee-Chee cards. and
Okay.
this is from the 80s. This is what 1981 PSA 7. It's usually slabs under $40 and
Okay.
$50, and I'm just thinking, look, I don't care if there's a recession, depression, etc. I mean, looking 10 years from now, in my opinion, people are still going to go to that. I have some cheap Jordan slabs too. I mean, it's not that much, but I'm just thinking if I'm getting these for like $10, maybe, down the road, if I buy a bunch of these and maybe Willie Mays cards, I hope to, double my value, but this is not, a short-term flip. I know some flippers, this is not their strategy. Just for
Yeah,
me,
it's
I'm more of a,
patience. You got some patience involved.
yeah, exactly. I'm more, a long-term person in terms of the hobby.
I understand. I really take the same approach. If I'm moving something at all, it's to enhance my PC. To try to make a move on something like that. So what I did was, we're going to talk about this in the upcoming episode. I won't tell the cards though. So
Okay.
Del Mar, I had a card. I've had a card for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
That I decided to grade at Del Mar, at least submit it for it to be graded. And then I have another card that I purchased of a young up and coming basketball player.
Okay.
It's pretty popular. A rookie RPA that I turned in Beckett to get that graded. So I'm starting to challenge myself now on, if I see a clean, and I have to really go through the proper steps. G and I were talking about getting a magnifying glass to make sure I can. Yeah, I want to start looking at some ungraded cards.
Right.
And attempt to either select what do I want to grade, or what's a good, maybe a good card to buy that's greatly underpriced because it's ungraded, and then go on a patient strategy kind of play.
Okay, that's good. I mean, so you like using Beckett for RPAs and not PSA?
Oh, because it's a thicker card, and it was the person I turned it into to kind of clean the card and look at it, analyze it, kind of recommended that, but only because it's a thicker card.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because like in terms, if you're looking for value, I mean, I would always try PSA, but
yeah, I turned the other card into PSA. To try to
okay, gotcha.
But we'll see what comes out back, man. You know what's funny? We were talking when we went to the Del Mar show. I was talking to several people.
Yeah.
If you notice the large cards that are announced that have been sold probably in the last 6 months, a lot of those are Beckett slabs.
Really? I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, I've been buying like a lot of CSG cards, but they're not like on the high end. I'm not in that game right now, but yeah, that's interesting to know. That's what's going on at the shows. Because like,
so let me ask you this: what do you think of CSG changing their slab?
I think that a lot of people, they talked about it. I had no opinion about it in the beginning. I just wanted to see what others were saying, and it seems that other people do like that change. So, that's I think that's a positive thing because CSG, in my opinion, has Beckett. I mean, has a few Beckett individuals from the past that were graders, and there were, I think, good graders, and because of that, I think that's good for the hobby, and I'm just looking at, okay, if I find maybe down the road a high-end CSG slab, maybe you could crack that and then send it to PSA for a crossover. What people used to do, with the BGS 9.5, send to PSA.
Yep.
I think there is some good arbitrage opportunities with that down the road, when I'm going to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, it seems like to me, I've talked to a few people where they really like the slab change, the way it looks. They also like the recalibration on the numeric numbers that are on the card. We'll see how this plays out. I think it might be a very positive play for CSG.
Yeah. I see one comment. He says, do I have a CSG in hand? I do have a CSG in hand, but it's not a black label or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the old label. Yeah. And this is like a cheap card, like under $10 or something like that.
Let me get through some comments here.
Yep.
DeRozan and CP3 are the mid-range lords. I can see that DeRozan definitely is. Yeah, CP3 is as well. There's just something about CP3's game that just does not excite me. I know he has numbers. He's thrown assists. He scores points. There's just something about his game that just doesn't get me revved up. The Reverend Rip says Poole is the addition that will get Dubs to the West Finals. I agree with that. I think the entire season they were trying to get their roster together, and they finally got together when Clay came back, and then Poole started. He was a starter, and then he went to the bench, and then when I think it was almost the best time for, I hate to say it, for Steph to get hurt, to see Poole come out and see what he was doing. So it's going to be very exciting. And all these young players, like Kuminga came out the other night, was playing some defense, and it's gonna be interesting.
Wait, do you find it interesting that Golden State always winds up, with all of these studs on their team?
Well, their front office, man, they must be making moves because, when they got rid of Kevin Durant, people said, "What are they going to do?" And they feel that roster were real talent, like futuristic talent,
right?
They develop and grow, and I love the way they're patient with people. James Wiseman is hurt. They just said, "Hey, we're not going to bring you back for the playoffs. You get better." They bring in somebody like Kuminga. GP the second was cut several times, not thought of, but Steph and Clay didn't believe in him. They kick that three out to him when he's open. They look for him to make the shot. He makes the shot. There's a lot of players out here. I think it's a lot of stuff that we all do. When you have somebody that believes in you, it's a different ballgame. So Pepino Man says, will Ja do another dance during the playoffs? I don't think so. I think his gritty is over. But he looked exhausted at the end of the game the other day.
Yeah. So I don't know if I don't know how many Bulls games you watch, but the announcers were comparing Ja Morant to Derrick Rose about 10 years ago. I don't know if you see a similarity.
I can see. I mean, they're both athletic.
Yeah. They
both have they can score the basketball either from driving or shooting a jump shot.
Yeah.
They're both kind of smaller guards. And I can see that comparison. But what I always say is small guards kind of have a problem in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
They end up usually getting hurt or something happening to them.
Right. And D-Rose got hurt all the time.
He got hurt all the time. So what that happened to Ja? I don't know. Yeah. Lucky for Ja, this is not a physical league like it was in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, those people that were aggressively buying those Ja Morant cards, I'm just wondering, if the same thing happened, similar things happened to Ja Morant that did to Derrick Rose, are they bag holders?
I don't know. They could be. I mean, I think about the people who do you remember when Donovan Mitchell cards were very popular?
Yeah, I remember. Was it like a few years ago, right?
Yeah. Now his values have dropped, considerably dropped. I don't know. A lot of these guys, we got to see Mitchell get out into the playoffs and actually do something.
Yeah.
Something came out the other day that who's his counterpart, power forward center. He wants to Gobert. Gobert wants to separate from Donovan Mitchell. He's asking the front office to trade one of them. I don't know. If I'm the Utah Jazz, I don't know if I'm letting Donovan Mitchell go. We'll see what they think. We'll see.
Yep.
The Reverend Rips asked the question: AIH a hockey guy?
Not really. I do look at all types of sports, though. I'm more of a baseball guy. You see the Cubs background. That's my favorite sport in general. I do have a bunch of cards, but I haven't been buying baseball lately. I think the time to buy baseball was maybe like 3 years ago. And then
so now let me ask this question, because I had this conversation with several people at the Dale Mark show. Why are you not buying baseball right now?
Why am I not buying baseball? I mean, I don't know what to buy, to be honest. In terms of prospecting, I mean, everyone's talking about, you've talked about it before, like Wander Franco. I mean, his prices are just way too high. And I was buying, this was like in 2019. I think I told you this before. Verlander, I was buying a bunch of his cards before he won the Cy Young. Is that some background noise?
Hold on one second.
Okay.
We got some cooking in process.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Is it?
If you can smell these smells, you be like, man, this sound is worth it.
Okay.
It's
all good.
He's almost done. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, yeah. I think I must have said this in your last video. I was buying Verlander cards,
You
his
did
rookie
talk about
card.
this.
Yeah. So I was buying that, Scherzer, etc. I've just found a lot of value at the time. Right now, it's really tough for me just to dig in, even though I did a video saying that, I expect cards, to have at least a dead cat bounce right now. But at the same time, I don't want to be spending 7 Gs on Jeter. I'm really interested in that 279 card, the foil. You know that, right?
Yeah.
It was what, $3,000 a couple of years ago. I should have bought it at that time. It went to what, $27,000 or something like that at the
Yeah.
peak. But I want to wait until it crashes down even more, and then I'm gonna buy it.
On baseball, I'm trying to understand, like you talked about earlier, who to buy. I'm in a phase right now of doing research on players.
Yeah,
There's a lot of baseball that I need to
who
watch.
who do you think is gonna do well? I mean, besides Franco, in terms of prospecting.
There's Bobby Witt Jr. You have several different players. You got Cruz with Pittsburgh. There's several different players I'm looking at, but I just want to see them play. There's some people that's down in the minors. I mean, Jason Dominguez went back down. It'd be interesting to see what those players do and how they show consistency.
Yeah, I mean, I before this pandemic, I was looking for people that would go to fame because I think that was just a slam dunk. Like I told you, Verlander, Scherzer, like all those guys, Cabrera. And then now it's okay, everything's inflated, and now you got to pick the right prospect that isn't inflated. And I don't know. I mean, I was looking at White Sox cards last year, but I don't know how Eloy and what's his name?
Robert.
Yeah, Roberts. Yeah.
Only time will tell. We'll continue to
Right.
talk about it. Only time will tell. I love
Sure.
I love podcasts, and we're rolling. So we got Randy here, the great negotiator. Hold on, make sure I read this. Raul, I just messaged the great negotiator and asked him when was he going to battle you, and he rocks me to shut up. Then I asked him what happened to all that positivity crap.
All right. So this is you've probably seen the videos. There were some videos going around with me, and I call him the great negotiator, aka the great curator. I know you have had some pictures with him, and I think you've on your podcast. No, like I said, that I'm willing to talk to anyone. And I told him that it would have to be on my program, and I really don't block comments unless if it's way out of line. I mean, I think that's about it. And I know, I mean, I'm not gonna try to start, stuff here on your podcast, but I know he's really, really positive, or he always talks about being positive, and I think that's what Randy's talking about.
Yeah, I think must be what he's referring to.
Yep.
Randy, I appreciate your comment. All right, serious drama. Where is Chris HOJ? So let's talk about. Have you heard the comments that Chris made? Probably, I don't know. I think on
Dakota's
own podcast about content and the level of content.
Yeah, I watched that Dakota interview.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and I did a video talking about it just in general, like cornball content, and I was asking Dustin. I don't know if you saw that too.
Mm-hmm.
I did a podcast with Dustin, and I was just thinking to myself, okay, so it's content which is making people shy away from this hobby. It's negativity that's bringing down prices. That's what I'm understanding what he's trying to say. But so then on the other hand, is it positivity that drove up the prices during the pandemic? I mean, there's more to that. Sure, people were positive and optimistic, but we were locked up in our homes. We were given stimulus checks. And this was a different type of economy that we've never seen in our lifetimes. And I don't think they ever gave stimulus checks to this extent. And the Federal Reserve printed all this monopoly money, which made prices. I mean, I had cards that went up 20x $100 cards. I was able to sell at what, $3,800 gross. So that's the definition of insanity, in my opinion. I'm glad I made the money, but that's not natural. And now we are in an economy that is somewhat getting back to normal. They're not giving stimulus checks. We are going back to the office. I don't know what you do for your day job, but like I'm going to the office a couple days a week, and that wasn't the case in 2020 after March 2020.
Yeah.
And if you look at other things as well, there's other stocks I mentioned in the video, like Zoom stock is down. Is Zoom stock down because people are negative? Is Moderna stock down because people are negative regarding the jab on platforms like Rumble, where people talk about it and they bash the jab? So it has to deal more with not how content creation is. It has to deal more with an economic point of view, which it's obvious to me, but I'm not sure if he agrees with that. But this is what I believe, in my opinion.
What do you think about his comments though on content creation?
I mean, I think it was a shot at Jeff Wilson. I don't think it was like.
Did you really think he was talking to Jeff? Because I thought he was. I thought he wasn't talking to Jeff.
Oh, you don't think he was talking about Jeff?
Think so at all?
Who do you think he was talking about then?
I thought he was trying to give a synopsis of what he thought about content creation just overall.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I think people went to Jeff because Jeff has
the buying up of subscribers. That's what I thought he was talking about.
But but AIH, that you and I can buy subscribers.
Yeah, we could buy subscribers as well. But if you look, I think what he's trying to get at is if you get 10,000 views, or he said something like that from my memory, or like video. I mean, I don't get that amount of views. I mean, the most amount of views that I got was what, 3,000. You got, I don't know what's your most rated video, but you don't get 10,000 views. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, who is he referring to? Is he referring to Card Collector 2? Is he referring to Jeff Wilson? Those are the two people that I thought he was referring to when he's saying, okay, they're buying up subs. I mean, I don't know who is and who isn't. I know people definitely are. But the long story short, I think the message he was saying that it's you should basically be canceled if you have cornball content, which I don't agree with. I want people with different opinions and to speak freely, and and ultimately it's the market that's going to decide whether they buy sports cards or not. And then like the other point that he made was that you want to attract billionaires, and you're not going to attract billionaires and the rich conservative folk because of content. And I'm thinking to myself, what billionaire goes on YouTube to try to find out, sports card content? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, are you going to have rich, affluent guys like Mark Cuban? I don't think he's conservative, but is he going to go to YouTube to find the latest content on sports cards? I mean, I have rich family members. They think that sports cards are dumb. I don't know. And they have the ability to buy these high-end cards. So, and I think a lot of rich people think that they may watch sports, but I don't think they view it as an investment.
Do you think because I've talked to some people that personally that invest a lot in the sports cards, and they actually do watch content and of various sources on sports cards. Yeah. And they will quote you what someone said in their content.
They can, but ultimately you could do research in various forms. You could go read older articles in a database, and I've done this for my videos. Actually, I've gone through old articles from the Chicago Tribune, sourced information during times where collectibles were going up, where collectibles were going down. And I was trying to try to convey the message, hey, when interest rates go way above the market rate, that's probably not the best time to be selling, right? That may actually be a time to be buying, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I have sourced information on my YouTube videos, and anyone can. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, your local library, you could be able to source it from different newspapers. I mean, I have access, but I'm sure people across the United States could go to the library, and then at home they source various informations from different newspapers throughout the country. So I don't know. Some people may look at YouTube, but if I had millions and millions of dollars, I mean, I would go to YouTube just for fun. I mean, that's what I do right now. I'm just here, to have
I
fun.
understand.
I watch your videos. I watch Dustin's. I watch, Dakota's. Everyone, out there. It doesn't mean I agree with you guys.
Mhm.
I may sometimes, I may not, but it's when I'm stressed out, I want to watch sports card content.
No, I understand. Believe me, I understand. I watch a lot of stuff myself. We're gonna have Chris on very
Yeah.
soon here.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, to talk through what was he getting at, what is he talking about.
Yeah.
I can just tell you from me, when he started giving his opinion, I respect everyone's opinion, right? So when he
Yeah.
started giving his opinion, I didn't take it personally. Like I didn't really ask myself who exactly is he talking about.
Yeah. Did
But
you
I-
see Ziggy's response?
So what was Ziggy's response?
Oh, you should watch the video. He had a really interesting response. You should definitely
I'll check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll check it out. All right, Hero 3 says, thoughts on Doc Rivers letting Embiid play meaningless minutes. So Embiid gets hurt, and I think people are blaming Doc Rivers for it. So he has an orbital bone around his eye that has him out indefinitely. When I think of Embiid, though, I think that he's always going to be hurt. So I don't know if, and I've watched some Sixer games. If he was in late, I don't know what him and Doc has. I don't know if they've talked about that he wants to finish games.
Yeah.
Some players are like that. I mean, I don't know, but I just always ask myself, why is Embiid always hurt? And the orbital bone is an injury that any one of us could suffer. It's not like something else, but it's just interesting that he is hurt on a consistent basis.
I mean, I think I've seen Doc Rivers rubs people the wrong way. I don't know if you think that.
I just think Doc Rivers is not the coach that I would want on the team that I'm cheering for, or if I'm on the team. I believe he's passive at times. There's a bunch of stuff that went down in Boston that I felt like Doc Rivers could have probably nipped that in the bud. When Chris Paul and Blake Griffin had a problem, and you could see it on the court on how they were playing, I feel like Doc Rivers could have put an end to that.
Yeah.
At some point. Other coaches would have, but I just think that's Doc Rivers overall. I think he's a very, some people may say players coach.
Yeah.
But he is a very lenient, accepting of a lot of stuff. And maybe in today's environment, that's what he feels like he has a coach. Because Doc came from a whole nother generation of basketball.
Yeah, that's
Feels
true.
like that's how he has to relate to his players.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Because I don't know if Phil Jackson coached today. I don't know if
Phil Jackson would not be able to, because I don't know if you read some of his books from the past.
No, I haven't read his book.
No, okay. So I swear this is quite interesting. If he were to do this today, he'd definitely be canceled. But I was reading this book he wrote in the 90s, and I think the one exercise, he wanted everyone to lighten up, but he wanted the players to, I believe, is to grunt like gorillas. And today, you know how society is.
Yeah.
And even though he was not trying to be racist, someone may perceive that as racist. And I'm thinking like, whoa, like in the 90s, I guess that flew by. Jordan about that, but
Well, I'm pretty sure in that locker room, nothing came. I don't remember hearing anything come out of that locker room. You ever notice AIH, the successful teams, nothing really comes from the locker room to the media.
Yeah.
The Patriots, you're not hearing anything. We don't know right now, sitting here, anything that really happened in the locker room during the entire 20-some year period.
Yeah.
They won Super Bowls. These teams just don't do that. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't find out about the story that you're talking about until later. So, you know, but in this day, it'd be interesting to see if they could still keep that lockdown like
Yeah.
that. The
I mean,
Patriots did, but we'll see.
yeah, I mean, like, do you remember when the whole Antonio Brown thing was going on this year with the Buccaneers? And like he had this girl in the hotel during the pandemic. He wasn't supposed to, and then like all these weird stories came out with him and the girl, and
Yeah.
it was so they covered up a lot of things that Antonio Brown was doing. I mean, I don't know how they covered it up.
Well, you know, the Patriots, they probably have a whole team of people.
Yeah.
That handle PR from a social media perspective.
Yeah.
And how information gets disseminated to the general public.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they had Aaron Hernandez.
We really didn't know anything about Antonio Brown until he took his shirt off and threw it in the stands.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right, Hero 3 says, I think everyone going to crack CSG and send to PSA or back. It'd be interesting to see that. I mean, I don't know. You know, I think the steps they're making is, I think it's a positive step. But everything's about how many cars are generated, sitting, and then how the market values those slabs. Like we were at Del Mar this weekend. There's a company called Rare who does slabs, and they do slabs for $29 and up. And everything is graded. There's no upcharge if your card has a great grade. Yeah. They'll grade your card, also your auto on the card, and then they'll give you 4 subgrades, and then they'll also tell you once you get your grades back what caused your card to get that grade. It's UV protected glass. It's the same glass they used to make iPhones. We was like standing there, and it'd be some content coming up. We were having a detailed conversation. At the end of the day, though, it's about you can drop these slabs of water. They're waterproof. How would a hobby accept those slabs? What would be the market values of the cars that are graded in them? And like CSG, right? And there are several other companies. I always say, I've never seen a $50,000 card in CSG. So the market.
I think there's a LeBron card, maybe.
Yeah. So the market
that was in the beginning when it came out.
And the vendors here that I know that use CSG grade some of their own cars with it, or they're using it to turn because of the return days are shorter than some other companies. So they're using that to really turn cars, get them on tables, and get them sold. So it'll be interesting to see like what Rare and some other companies 6 months from now, because 6 months could be a long time, a year from now, how those slabs looked at in the marketplace.
For sure.
But the slab looked great, felt good in your hand, round corners. I mean, it just looked fabulous. And the cool thing about it is when you get your car back, it's in a bag, right? Sealed bag. So you're ripping your slab just like you would a pack, which brings that next level of excitement. All right, the Reverend Rip says, do you have one in hand, best slab? Yeah, I think you already showed your CSG, right? All right, we got CV Sports Cars. What's up, FD? I see you're there already. I'm so jealous. Hope to make it still there. Please come through. It'd be cool. AIH guys, sorry, don't know your name. Raul, do you still have any beef with the great creator? I bet you talked a little bit about the great creator today. I don't want that to dominate this, but is there anything else you want to say on that?
No, I'm open to having a conversation with them, and I'm willing to talk to anyone.
Yep. And Glorious P, CSG about to take over second place in the hobby. Hey, I don't think anyone can rule out that in the next year to year and a half, you don't know how this may change. Me personally, I like to see more activity from Beckett. I like to see someone from Beckett telling me something about their product, maybe who they're partnering with in the total market, and what are their plans for the future. Because I love Beckett slabs.
Yeah, I want to take a chance on CSG. I agree with Inglorious P that CSG has room to run.
I think they do. I agree. And that's what we were talking about at the Mint when we saw the slab change. We were able to talk to someone.
Yeah.
I agree that they have room right there. The new slab is unbelievable. AIH, I have a long-term play with stuff. FD, raw to grade, brings maximum potential. I'm telling you. And then we'll see if, hopefully, I get the grade that I would like. We all out here want that. We'll see what kind of plays we can make after that. A lot of people right now I'm talking to are making plays off Jordan, low-grade rookie cards, as well as LeBron cards, and moving into other stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about that.
It's interesting.
Just think about it. Those cards hold maximum value, right? You know that you're going to get probably 80% of comp or more. Then you can make a play off of that if you want to go to something else. Makes sense.
Yep.
Nathan says Rip Hamilton was some way he was buckets, but not exciting because mostly mid-range. People sleep on mid-range. I guess in our society, you want to see that dunk or you want to see that three.
Yeah.
But MJ made a career later in his career off mid-range.
That's true. I mean, he became smarter as he got older.
Because, as in when he came in, he was just attacking people.
Yeah.
Dunking on them.
Yeah. I think it had to deal more with Phil Jackson. I mean, I was too young to remember 86 to like 92, 93. But then after 93, I remembered most of that stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Phil Jackson, after reading this stuff, Phil Jackson implemented the triangle, and then Jordan became smarter, and then it wasn't a one-man show. It wasn't like with Doug Collins. So I think Phil Jackson was pretty good in helping Jordan, and it also helped that Scottie Pippen had a team-friendly contract.
And they said that when Phil got there, him and Mike had several meetings that Mike wasn't believing in the triangle and giving the ball up. And then finding the ball on the other side of the court as we worked the ball around. He wasn't feeling that. But I think after a while, he saw the benefits, especially when he saw Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, players developing around him that can help him out.
Sure.
Brian has a comment here. Golden State builds through the draft. It's not rocket science. But Brian, let me ask you this. Why can't other teams do that? Name me another team in the NBA besides San Antonio back in the day that built themselves through the draft.
That's true.
And won championships. Not just had a lot of rah-rah and potential talk, but actually turned that into some rings. I really can't name anyone. So it's not easy. But this is the kind of stuff that Jerry West was doing with the Lakers back in the day. Pulling people in.
Jerry West was reading he's like a good general manager. So
yeah.
Back in the
So
day.
AIH, have you watched Winning Time at all?
Have I watched? I'm sorry?
Winning Time. It's about the Lakers.
No, I have not, actually. No, I have not.
It's an interesting show. Jerry West is shown a particular way in there. They come in when Jerry is the coach, and then he's relinquishing the coaching job.
Yeah.
And then it's Magic Johnson's rookie year and how they go about winning the championship. It's very interesting to watch, man. West is almost like yelling, screaming, confused guy at times. So supposedly, I think he's allegedly put in a lawsuit saying defamation of character or something. But I know him and Magic Johnson have both publicly said they don't plan to watch the series. And they feel like it doesn't represent them.
Gotcha.
But it's entertainment, man. All right. DeRozan disappeared in the playoffs like I expected. His numbers were subpar compared to what he did in the regular season. He is not number one option. He is number two. Man, I think we got to give that team some time to be together, gel, get some kind of chemistry going, find out who scores when, where, who grabs the rebound.
They need a big guy.
Yeah, they do need a big guy.
They can't just keep on shooting threes. I knew they'd have trouble in the playoffs.
True. So, Raul, are there any shows that you're going to coming up in Chicago? Or what are your goals for the rest of the year as far as what you want to add to your PC?
My own personal collection, or just from an investing point of view?
Oh, you can give me both. Both.
Yeah. Okay, both. There is a show in June. I think it's the Chicago Spectacular show again.
Okay.
And there's Rockford, Illinois, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's shows in Rockford all the time, so I may hit up one of those shows in the coming months. Right now, though, I I'm usually buying off of eBay. I'm not like I told you, I'm not a show guy. I do go to shows on occasion. I
Okay.
will go to shows on occasion. I will buy, autographs that I didn't have, like a RZA autograph I showed you last time.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a Shohei Ohtani ticket that one of his games from 2017 or 2018.
Okay.
But right now I'm laying low. I'm just mainly doing, boring things just on eBay, just looking at cards, no one else is looking at. When you're at shows, yeah, you can negotiate, but at the same time, a lot of these cards are not what I'm looking for.
Understood.
And I'm going to probably make more of my aggressive bets. I keep on talking about we're going to have a recession probably in the next few years, which I think that's when I want to be really, really, really aggressive. And right now I'm like, yeah, if I see something that's way below what I think is market value, that's what I'm buying. So right now I'm like, yeah, I'll still buy, but not be as aggressive. What are you doing?
So I'm very patient right now. I'm
Yeah.
looking for particular cards from particular players in particular sets.
Mhm.
And if I don't see something that really grabs me,
Yeah.
I'm probably not buying.
Okay.
Unless it's an excellent deal. Just an excellent deal. But other than
Like,
that, I really
how
put
how
my
much
patience hat on.
how much have you bought lately? It's not that much.
I would say probably buying pretty frequently. Recently, we went to a show like 2 weeks ago, and I picked up a Kobe Start Date card from his rookie year. Rookie insert, graded 9.5 BGS with 4 9.5 subgrades. It's a card that I've always really wanted to have in a PC. And I also picked up a low pop Bowman's Best rookie year Tim Duncan card refractor.
Okay.
So those kind of cards are what I'm kind of looking for. Sometimes a little bit different. You don't see a lot of it. It's still at a pretty decent price. Hasn't gone crazy. And that start date card has come down. That card was probably 4 times, almost 5 times what it is right now at
Okay.
one point. But that was the time that I knew it wasn't the time to buy the card.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Right. You buy when it's cheap. You don't buy when it's really expensive. And what the hobby's doing is they're aggressive when it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And they're fearful when prices are coming down.
Well, it's interesting because I was watching something today on Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
He gave 3 principles of when to buy. And one of
Right.
those principles is when people are afraid.
Yeah.
And they're probably selling.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you got your lens right,
greed.
yeah, if you're looking and you believe in your play,
Right.
right? Like we're on what's the play. If you believe in your play,
Exactly.
you don't worry about the rest. Sometimes you got to just believe in what the research you've done, your understanding of the hobby and the sport that you're collecting, and you got to make your move.
For sure.
You can't be like, man, this guy over here told me, or this young lady over here told me to do this.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta be confident in what you're doing.
You got to go for it.
Exactly.
Hey, what's up, Sylvester? How you doing? Ranger, 2nd, 75th. I appreciate you being here always. Always. Joe LeCobe has created several successful companies as a venture capitalist. He has some special formula for creating cohesive teams. Thank you for that. Hero 3, I agree with that. Ja is like a mix of roles and AI. I like Ja more. That's a real statement right there. It's a real statement. Richard Perez, Morant needs scare me due to his play. He needs to adjust his game before becoming Brandon Roy. Yeah, the penetration, we'll see over time just what that does. How does it play out for him? FD, do you think that was disrespectful of Ja to do the gritty on the logo? Ja does a lot of stuff. This is just me. I may be old school. I reached out to some friends and I've asked them, what do you think about all this Ja stuff? All this telephone, all this gritty and dancing. And like the other day, I think Bane hit a 3 and Ja was on the gritty as he gets back on defense. Bro, what happened to sports, man?
I mean, if you look at it, some players did have attitudes, in the 90s. I mean, it wasn't,
Dancing on the
it's just a
court?
different generation. I mean, I'm a little older than Ja, but I mean, the 90s, I mean, they weren't saints, even in the late 80s, you had the Pistons and the Bulls, a lot of people are saying stuff to Pippen,
Yeah, true.
it wasn't like,
I'm just all about the dancing on the court, man.
yeah. I mean,
It was just a different generation.
yeah, it's a different generation. More is trash talking, back in the day.
Yeah, trash talking, and then somebody throwing you into the fifth row. More of that was going on, right? But not just like dancing stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I think younger players in the league are going to realize that the hype of the draft, if you're rookie of the year or not, if you're sixth man or not,
right,
means nothing when the playoffs start.
Yeah, playoffs is a whole different game.
Whole different game. I think people are going to realize that. Hero 3 says stick with Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man is going to be nice as we go forward. Real nice. The Reverend Rips. You're holding, huh? Okay. All right, I like that. I like for people to tell me more about their long-term holds. As we sit here and talk with AIH or even in the future. Let me know some stuff that you're holding long-term. And Glorious P says that he's a cricket guy.
No, it is a joke. It's from my video last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was basically saying that what are influencers, I was just messing around. It's like, what are influencers going to pump next? And I just said, oh, they're going to pump cricket.
That's a good one, brother.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I have heard people start talking more about Star Wars.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That was the chatter last night on my.
Yeah, I've heard more about Star Wars. SP 123. Shaq was right about Mitchell. He's not a first option on the championship team. Sold all my cards of him early. I think if Mitchell, this is me personally, right?
No.
If Mitchell goes to another team, I think a lot of stuff changes. He's a scorer.
Right.
He plays decent defense. He has a lot of things that are going for him. I just don't know. But let's just ask ourselves the question. Has Utah supported him by putting talent around him to have him move throughout the playoffs?
Yeah.
I can't name 3 Utah players. And I'm going to go Mitchell and Gobert. Who else is on that team that someone should be talking about? Don't know who that is.
Yep.
Don't know who that is. What is chop steak? Is that another joke?
Nah, I don't know.
Richard.
I don't know.
Let me know what chop steak is, man. I thought that was AK sounding all funny. CV Sports Cars, Mantle, Mays, Robinson, Aaron, the Goats. Okay, those are some serious long-term holds. People pay way too much, hobby chance, for high pop cars where there are so many deals. Hobby chance. There's a lot of deals on your low pop cars. And nobody really talks about that. AIH, I don't think that's a popular conversation. But there are a lot of low pop cars that are affordable, with great players that no one talks about.
Oh, you got some.
Yeah. I mean, are you talking about modern or are you talking about vintage or?
It could be vintage. There's some, I would say probably after 2000 stuff. That's low pop. That's somewhat affordable. It's a shame that you can walk up, I think it's a shame, and buy a Tim Duncan card for a very low price. That's a very low pop.
Yeah, I mean, I remember looking at Tim Duncan cards pre-pandemic. They were dirt cheap.
Yeah,
like
and it's
ridiculous.
still, they're not dirt cheap right now.
Yeah.
They're quite affordable.
Okay.
And then you got Tony Parker. You got Manu Ginobili.
Yeah, Tony Parker. Yeah, I noticed that Tony Parker, no one really wants to touch him. Is it because he's not a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, he doesn't even come up when people talk about great point guards.
Yeah.
Really doesn't come up. It's just interesting how that happens. That's why I think that, I don't know, that likability and overall X factor when it comes to car collecting is very important. And you really can't put your finger on it sometimes. I've seen Draymond Green cars. If people love Draymond Green or not, some of his stuff is very cheap from a rookie year, second year player. Aaron Judge is playing great. He's a free agent, plays in NY. A lot of players play great in the free agent year. Plays in NY, so the media going to push him. Also, Yankees on 9-game win streak. I think the Yankees had the best record in Major League Baseball.
I haven't paid attention right now to the records, but 9 games in a row is pretty good.
CV
Still
said
too
low
early.
prop vintage is what they were referring to.
Oh, that was you?
Now, wow, I think about this at least once a week. AIH, what
Yeah.
Richard was saying here. I wonder how the person who bought that Jason Dominguez super refractor for $500K is doing. And it's not just this car. There are other cars that people are spending a lot of money on.
I'm gonna go try to sell this to this guy in here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reasoning for this person was that, hey, he spent a few $100,000 and he made $1 million with the Wander Franco scarce card. So he said, okay, if I made money with Wander Franco, then I could make money with Jason Dominguez.
Yep.
And, it's gambling, you might as well put in what?
Put your hat in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But what's interesting, there will be a car coming up.
Yeah.
There's a player that's hyped. They're still in the minors. Their car values blow up, and they're going to come to Major League Baseball and produce. And then you're going to see what that does.
You know what the weird part was? I was doing a video on this, and I was saying that, look, Derek Jeter's SP Foil PSA 10, that card never got above, I think, $600,000. And now you want to put Jason Dominguez, who hasn't proven everything, for $500,000.
That's right.
I mean, that does not make any rational sense. And then, like the F1 card that sold the other day on Golden, assuming that's a legit auction, what, $900,000 or something?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's just ridiculous. I mean, a Fleer 86 is what, 200 something thousand?
I pulled up and did a meet and greet.
So, doesn't make
It's
sense.
wild, man. It's wild.
Yep.
Cheers, gents.
I was the artist that was going around doing the meet.
Keep up the hustle and truth, Ziggy. No.
Crazy, like, for my song.
I hear when you do that gritty dance, your testosterone levels drop dramatic.
Anything you need.
Well,
Anybody you want to meet.
April says the interview with Car Ladder is Wednesday. Yes, on Wednesday we're going to sit down with Chris from Car Ladder. Thank you, April, and talk to a whole bunch of things. One of the conversation pieces will be, what did he mean by a statement? And I'll tell him at least how I interpret it, some of the stuff I told you tonight, and then we'll go from there. Thank you, April. Appreciate it. April chimed in, Jim. Brendan. 2018-19-20 Panini basketball is the pre-fanatic era that will hold value over time. No one is saying ultra modern is the vintage of tomorrow. Okay.
What's this?
They view Jeff Wilson as a competitor. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I can see that. Brian, even if they buy subs, what difference does it make? What is that referring to? You know that's referring to? Thoughts on Jeff selling picks? What picks are Jeff selling, AIH?
I think he did for a certain time, but then he saw that the prices were getting out of control whenever he recommended a card.
Oh yeah,
he stopped it.
Oh yeah.
He stopped it though, but I think he got in front of it and said that, hey, this is wrong. I think he said this in the National last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, he admitted he was wrong. So, he took accountability for his actions and,
I really haven't thought too much more about that. I think that there are a lot of different things sometimes in content creation and that one attempts, and but at least he spoke up about it, said something about it, and stopped doing it. The question I always had though, if Jeff says, or AIH, if you say, or if I say, these are the cards that I think you should pick up, are people running to pick up those cards?
Some people do. Some people can't think for themselves. I mean, that's why I'm very careful in saying like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you want to do it, fine. But
Oh, that's what I say as well. We show what we do, what we actually do.
yeah, exactly.
You see something in that. If it's something that you like about it, or if it's something that you think you can learn about it,
Yeah.
I'm all about that. But
Right.
I don't come on to a episode or even on live and say, hey, you need to be buying Wanda Franco cards, and this is why I think that. I just don't do that. I like to take the by example approach, and I think you can apply some stuff that I'm doing to anyone that you may like as a collector, or someone that you think that you want to flip, buy, hold, whatever it may be. Nathan says part of it is bot accounts. I get fake people following my IG. I get fake people following my IG.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, all the time.
Nope.
All the time. Ryan Miller, I think people are going to start moving towards vintage. I also believe it is the safest play. I'm already seeing the younger people doing this a lot more. I'd say I see a lot more than I used to at shows, but it was somewhat lower before. But I would hope that everyone, if they have a PC, part of that is some form of vintage.
Yeah, it's
just like if
you're
investing in anything, right? You're not only investing in aggressive plays.
Right.
Yeah, you're investing in something that may help maintain or solidify during some tough times the value of your PC or what's going on with it. That's where I see vintage. And there's been some considerable jumps in vintage over the last 5 years. Player, sport, their significance in history. I think if you can check those boxes on stuff.
Yeah, I regret not buying Jackie Robinson cards back in the day.
You remember they were cheap, man? They were super cheap. Super cheap. We got the car father.
Okay.
That's epic, man. George, what the hell's going on, man?
Car father's box.
Nice. And
how you doing, sir?
We
got you on the live.
We got Rob. Oh my goodness, we're both on the live.
Yes,
hey, what's going on?
Live for the live.
Live for the live, man. It's just lit in that.
That's
place,
right,
man.
bro.
Woo!
This is a great event.
This is. We'll have to do it more often.
Yes, sir.
I kind of. EJ's like, we got to do it. I'm like, how do you say no to EJ?
That's right. How you do that, right?
I didn't. It's crazy. That's excellent.
It's always good seeing Rob. All right, so we say Baker Boy says, "What's up?" Wake and Break. What's up, Wake and Break? Yo. Watching the live as I drove to Burbank. See you soon. All right. Look forward to seeing you soon. No, we missed Wake and Break. He went to the NFL draft. He was in Vegas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Brendan, less filling, tastes great, vintage. That's right. Versus ultra modern. But the big booms, the big jumps in cars are the things that are sexy. But if you buy a vintage car for $200, let me just give you an example, and you turn that thing into $400, isn't that a win?
Yep.
That's a great win. You run that percentage down, it's a great win. All right, CV Sports Car says the only time vintage, let me put it on for you, pop goes up is when someone will crack BBG slabs and SGC to sub to PSA, and it's not even close to the modern subs nowadays. I can see your point there. Charles, AIH, man, you bring comments, sir.
Is it me or is it you?
I think it's you, bro. They want to interact with you. Charles says, "What's up, guys? Just got here. AIH in the house." All right, we got JD the Collector rolling. What's up, JD? Look forward to seeing you soon. Yeah, see y'all in a few on the way to trade night. Sin City Cars. Hello, gentlemen. It's always good to see you, Sin City. Shane Donahue, does AIH still sell insurance as a side gig? Can you make good money doing that?
I don't sell insurance. I don't know where you got that from.
I've never heard that, man.
Yeah, I think he's just trolling.
Yeah.
I see his comments down below.
All right, we got Will said, "I'm glad Triggerfinger is no longer on these lives. So disruptive." So let me ask you this: with your content, you've had more people on lately, right?
Yeah, I have.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I told you that in the gold and silver industry, I noticed a lot of shady characters, and I was very hesitant in the beginning in having guests on. I did bring people that I knew, and I knew their character and all
Yeah.
of that. So I had some last year, but now what I'm doing is, you know what, the market has cooled down. I could see who is a bit more genuine and who's not, and just have conversations with people that you may not agree with, and sometimes you'll agree with. And
That's right.
once again, if you have time, you could come on one of my live streams
Oh,
in the next
I'd
month
love
or
to,
two.
man. You just let me
Yeah,
know. I would love to.
yeah, for sure. No, we just have to find a time to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna slowly have more guests on. Maybe not for the next, maybe one this Sunday, but this summer and the fall, I plan to have more people on. And once again, I don't want to be in my own echo chamber. I want to talk to people that may not agree with me, and sometimes may agree with me, and then just let's have an honest, open conversation. And we don't have to yell at each other
That's
if
right.
we don't agree. Just
It's,
we're just
I,
hanging out, right? I mean, I'm
that's
doing this for fun, right? And you're doing this for fun, right? This is a hobby,
Mhm.
to as a distraction, right? So,
And I love what you're doing because, and I attempt to do the same thing, is
right,
being open to have conversations with people
right.
and really put all ideas on the table and then talk through those. I enjoy it. And I think I've always been like that, of talking to people who probably don't think like me at all. And it's the same thing when it comes to, I have conversations with people about collecting strategies,
Yeah,
buying strategies. I talk to people that don't even collect sports cards about what are they buying and why are they buying it, and then we talk about it.
yeah,
And to me,
exactly.
that's just the best tool. So I applaud you for doing that. I know there are other people also doing it, and I think that's going to help the hobby overall to just promote people to just talk to each other. Because when I go to shows, people are having conversations, and sometimes that's been different when it comes to a live concept or a live
Right.
interview. But we can do that same thing too.
Yeah,
That's
for
what it's
sure.
all about. Shane says he's an acquired taste best suited for the X-rated weekend crowd. I don't know who Shane's referring to.
Spots ain't going cheap though.
I don't know who Shane's referring to.
Yeah,
Shane,
I don't
we know
know.
who you're referring to.
But it has to be a specific case.
Yeah.
No, hanky panky at
Like an
Burbank
auto.
Sports Card.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to trade night, this is a great event. We were talking about coming out here and doing a live at AIH. I wanted to definitely have you on when we did it to just showcase a little bit of what it's like outside here. You got tables set up, you got people talking, you got deals going on right behind me.
That's funny.
So that's really what it's all about. You know,
Oh.
CSG has about as good of a chance to make it as the Cubs do the MLB playoffs. No chance. I don't know about that, Shane. I don't know if I agree with that. I think they have viable source. There are a lot of people submitting cards. When I go to shows, I see a lot of CSG on tables. So Shane, I want you to tell me, what do you see when you go out? Because I mean, G walks with me all the time. You can say you see CSG all the time. So people are submitting cards and they're holding value. Even if you look at eBay, there are CSG cards that are being sold that are comparable to some of these other grading companies. So that's just my thoughts. As Charles Barkley or Mr. T would say, no chance. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. I remember once upon a time when there were certain players in the market that people didn't even really collect or talk about. And now people are collecting and talking about them. So everything changes.
Yeah, last few years, everything has changed.
Yep. I can remember a time in the hobby when no one was grading cards. And then it went to only certain. It almost broke down by what you thought about the future.
Right.
Despite your age,
Yeah.
how you believed in the future, if you were going to grade or not. I remember when BGS carried more value in the marketplace than PSL.
Yeah, the BGS 10 was what? Not BGS 10, but like a 9.5 was the same as a PSA 10.
That's right.
Now
And
it's
that was
what?
at the beginning of the pandemic.
Now it's what? 30%.
That's right.
That's
At least
crazy.
30%. Yep.
That's insane.
So my suggestion would be to keep your mind open and adapt as the market adapts, because it will adapt.
Yeah.
Shane. Shane, where you at, man? Where you at, Shane, down in Houston? What's going
No, I
on with
didn't
you?
wear my hat backwards.
Every time he says, "Oh, is AIH still doing?" He's never done it.
He's trolling. He's having fun.
Yeah, he's having fun. What's your input on this new grading company and their slab Rare Edition? We just talked about that a little bit. We're going to have a person from Rare in an episode that's coming up that we just filmed at the Delmar show by the Union Marketplace, where they go through their whole slab process, what their slabs are made of, how they're waterproof. They'll also tell you some information on why your car got a certain grade. So if you got a 9.5, if you were looking for a 10, whatever it may be, they'll let you know, was it the corner, was it the surface? Almost like comic book grading, but they'll tell you where your comic book, if you pay for that service, let's say,
Yeah,
where your comic book kind of fell short.
I'm skeptical on new companies grading. I mean, look at what happened with HCA. I mean, CSG is a little different because they have BGS employees and they have, large people funding it. So I think that's a little different than, HCA.
And I think I think the gentleman told me they brought some.
You need some. Honestly, I'll do this, that, and the
Bugs coming
Wow,
after.
it's rare, right? It's rare. I had a bee on my shoulder.
Oh,
It's rare. So I think, gee, can you come around and see if I have anything on you? Hold on.
I don't know. That's I got.
Value go.
Great. Yeah, I think there's some graders that came over from a large grading company. But time will tell. There's going to be, I think, companies that come and maybe some companies that go. But I think in the next 5 to 10 years, there's a strong possibility that there could be a company that we don't know about right now that could sustain their business to that time.
they could.
I'm with you
It's
on
going to
that,
be challenging, though.
Yeah, it's going to be very challenging. My first question to him was about turnaround times. And how does that play out? Those are the things that this logistic stuff, I think, are the barriers to entry. Then we started talking about actually getting the slabs in an environment where many companies are having an issue getting material for different things. You're a new company and you can't get slabs, or there's some kind of variation in the quality of the slab, how they connect. We have seen slabs that even Rob here at Burbank has pulled apart with his hands. You don't want that help. Demetrius, appreciate you being here, man. I always appreciate you rolling. Wintertime is great, Will. At least I'm enjoying it. I'll tell you that. I still got to finish episode 9, right? Well, I think we're on episode 9. I need to finish it. Started it yesterday. Need to finish it. Mark Grace is greater than Anthony Rizzo.
No. Rizzo won a title, Charles. I tell you all the time. Even though I like Mark Grace growing up.
Mark Grace did have the most hits in the 90s. But you're right. Rizzo won the title playing first base. That's an interesting perspective, though. I've never thought about that.
I mean, Grace won with the Diamondbacks, but that was with the Diamondbacks. So.
Yeah, but he really wasn't playing a lot.
Yeah, it was like towards the latter stage
towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
In baseball, I guess we do with some players. I just have never thought about who's the best Cubs first baseman. I've never thought about that.
That's a
Before I go get that.
I've never thought about that.
It must have been someone way back in the day during like World War I. I don't know the names off the top of my head.
If Wes was smart, he would have ignored it. Raising a stink makes one thing. There's some truth to it. And they did have Rick Fox as a consultant. God knows his beef with the Lakers. It's interesting that Rick Fox was a consultant on that. Interesting. You think you have the consultant from the era that it was made about, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Maybe Rick was there to validate some information that he heard from somebody. That's interesting. You know who isn't a good GM? Jed Hoyer. Shane's on fire. Shane's on fire tonight.
I mean, it's hard to fill Theo Epstein's shoes. And then now, I don't know if they have the same amount of payroll.
I like Java.
It's the rebuild phase.
They're gonna get swept. Yeah, they're gonna get swept. They're gonna get swept. They're gonna get swept. Last game was their one game.
People think business is going to get swept.
It was Draymond out.
Interesting.
Warriors had a bad game and they still
Let's see what else we
That
got.
was it right there. That was it.
Yeah, Jared Jackson had the best game of his career.
I enjoyed watching you guys collab. Thank you very much, Bob. I enjoyed talking to AIH.
Yeah,
That was a good conversation.
Y'all had a good game.
Will says gritty is such a shitty dance. A good dance would have been fine. I think it's just something that's popular right now. You know, when I was young, it was a cabbage patch. You saw guys scoring touchdowns doing that. There are many different dances I could name over time. It's just one of those things. I just question it when you're doing it, when you're getting back on defense after your teammate hits a three. That's the only thing I'm questioning on. If you hit,
We rolling with FD. We rolling. Oh man, we know you're doing. Hey, G, what's up, man? I'm Brad. It's great to finally meet you, man. You do amazing work on that. I'm telling you what, you have a gift and a talent, and you need to expose that to the world. Let it keep on going, man. I'm proud of you, man. Congratulations, man. You blessed.
Good to see you, bro.
Great to see you.
How long
I
you
love
gonna be here?
I'm here just to see you and say hello. I'll tell you I love you, man. I'm so proud to see you, man. I got
Good to
something
see you,
special
bro.
for you.
All right.
I know you're in the middle of a live. You still on live
Yeah,
already?
yeah.
So you want to add this to the conversation? What do you know about this? Can you put some history behind that? How much?
Juan Pizarro. AIH, do you know Juan Pizarro?
No.
Juan Pizarro. Hold on here.
All right.
You got Wake and Break.
Hey,
Wake and
Steve
Break.
Bradley from Wake and Break Sports Cars. Stop by and say hi. We're over here at Trade Night, having a blast with FD. I saw you guys on the live.
Juan Pizarro. Give me some history.
That's what I was waiting for you to tell me. So, apparently, when he came into the league, it's on the back, but I just read this. That was really cool. But I know you're a Chicago guy, so maybe you have the.
Yeah.
So he came in as a pitcher, and he was kind of rough start. After that, he had like 23 wins, man. It was impressive. So I
Yeah, I
thought, man,
see. 1956.
Yeah. You go to 62 tops. It's got a PSA 4th grade or whatever.
Great card to me, man. Great card.
So I knew that the place it needs to be is in your collection.
Thank you,
you'll
brother.
honor it, you'll appreciate it, and you'll find out the history, you do the research, and you'll be able to share that with all the rest of the world.
Bro, I appreciate you, man.
Man, I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro.
I love you, man.
Thank you,
You
bro.
know that. I
Appreciate
love you,
it.
FD.
Thank you, bro.
You're a real one. You're
Thank
a real
you, bro.
one, man. You're awesome. No, thank you.
I appreciate
I'm
you.
gonna get over one emotion. I
All right.
appreciate you. You're
I
awesome.
appreciate
I'll
you,
your live stream, man. Good to see you. Keep on shining. Keep on smiling, man.
All right,
I
bro.
appreciate you, man.
Thank
Good to
you,
see you. I
man.
love you,
Yep.
man. You're awesome.
You know JD is coming.
That's gonna be cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys gonna go live here?
He was talking about it.
That'd be awesome. Hey, I'm sorry I missed you guys at the Del Mar. I went over to
It's all
Las
good,
Vegas.
bro.
You didn't believe that?
Don't worry about
I
it.
was sitting there with Ross, and he's like, "You should drive there right now." I'm
Don't
like,
worry
seriously? Right to Vegas, man.
Don't worry
In
about
Las Vegas,
Come on.
unbelievable. In the middle of Las Vegas Boulevard, they shut down the whole road. There's no cars, just people like
That's
you
a,
and me out
that's a
there
once
dancing.
in a lifetime experience.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Then I made it to Del Mar, and I was like, my mind was blown, man. You guys, that was an incredible show.
I saw that picture with you and Merle.
Oh, that was funny, wasn't it? Merlin's
All
a
right,
Karen.
bro.
I love you, man. Good to see you. I love
Good to see you, man.
Hey, good to see you. Good to finally meet you, man. I appreciate you. I know you're in the middle of live stream, man.
It's all good, bro.
I later. I love you guys, man. See you, G.
This guy joking. Oh, you sounded like this.
Interactive, bro. JD just walked up. What's up, man? What's up? We're on with AIH.
You guys are still on?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, man?
He said, what's up?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Man, really good. How's it going?
Like, well, certain part, it's hard because
You guys talk
We've been
about
on for a little over an hour.
Talking
Sports
about all
cars,
these.
everything in between.
what's the matter? I was listening to it on the way over here.
Thank you. I saw your comment.
look at Nia. Time it.
9 on the F1, bro.
Yeah, so what's up?
Good.
What's the topic right now?
We were just talking about the gritty dance. Some people think it's shitty.
I think it's for the younger generation.
That's what I was saying. But I was just tripping off that we're doing the gritty while we're getting back on defense.
Oh, did you see the one when Ja? You talking about the
When Bang hit the three.
Ja was dancing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, they end up losing. So it looks
We'll see. See how it goes.
I've been giving you
But I went inside briefly, came right back outside.
I don't want to go inside.
You should have taken it.
We're going inside. It's getting live here, man. Getting live. We got a few more comments, though. FT back in the day, he would have been handy.
You're not tired?
He's a tired hero. This is
I have to take a nap today. 1 o'clock, I was asleep.
They sounded like them.
Okay, I'm okay with people dancing as long as they don't whine about getting hit or booed for it. Interesting. I like how you came back strong, AIH.
Yeah.
I like that. Smartphone generation is very narcissistic. Just part of the syndrome. Interesting. Wow, we're talking about all kinds of stuff here tonight. Sports, Mark Grace. Then Will says cocaine and cigarettes, yoga in between. Interesting. Tell you, man, you bring the comments, man.
He was responding to Shane.
Oh, really?
That dude.
That was the noise that was being made when the food was being chopped up.
No, I got some of them off.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. Romo was better than Aikman. What a name that is right there, right?
Romo didn't win anything.
They didn't win anything, man. But
he's a great announcer.
Fumble games away sometimes. Why do you think the pullback is much more severe in basketball and football versus baseball? What do you think on that?
So I think you had a lot of foreign buyers in basketball, and that helped push up basketball. And you also had like rich people in the U.S., celebrities, rappers, etc. And if the whole cool down, you put a lot of money in really quickly, there's going to be a huge correction. So basketball gets hit the hardest.
I always wondered if Michael Jordan was the draw for basketball to go up so much.
It was during the Last Dance, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and then they threw money into LeBron.
I mean, you got the Jordan rookie PSA 10 went from 50,000 to over 700,000.
Yeah.
Came down to 400-some thousand. Now it's around 280 to 320.
Yeah, something like that. I saw something was maybe 240, 250. I don't remember.
I think if you have the card in hand, you can probably demand your price.
Oh, yeah, because I think Probstein has 16 or something ridiculous. So it's hard to get a hold of these cards.
Hey, what did you think about? I know, I think you and I shared some notes. What did you think about Prostein's conversation about shielding?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that he said that he's coming out with a new platform where people can track their information, and he's also blocking people that aren't paying. I think there's a feature on eBay, so I think that's good moving forward. Now, there's also something he can't control. So suppose you have 0 reviews and you're shilling. And you can't stop that from happening. You can't block 0 reviews people. That's the issue going on with eBay. So, yeah, I mean, if he had a chance to block those 0 review people, then yeah, I would hate on Probstein, but he has no control over it. So, I mean, what do you do in that situation if you're a big seller and you can't stop it? I don't know.
It was at least good to hear about his protocol on if you find out someone else should bid and what steps they're going through to eliminate that person from coming back to do the same thing over and over again. That was refreshing. I felt like there was a process for that. Anyway, even before I heard about it, I kind of thought that was the case. The Reverend Rip says, FD, I'm using my high-power PSA 10 base to buy into bigger cars. There's a fallacy about junk slab era. It is having a right high pop slabs. It is junk if you own stuff like Ball White. I respect that. I can see that strategy. You see that? Yeah, I did see this. Lewis Hamilton Subfractor 101 for $900K. Wonder what my Rock 101 WWE 2020 top Superfractor will go for.
Charles, are you selling that also through Golden? That's what I'm wondering. He's probably doing that. Are you trying to pump it, Charles? I'm just messing with him. He always messes around with me. I got to go in about 5-10 minutes, FYI.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Hey, what's great? Let me see if I got any other goodies here.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Dead Cat Bounce video yet. No spoilers?
Yeah, I did a video today, just before this.
So AIH, anything you want to leave the people with until the next time we get together?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, just once again, do make sure to do your own due diligence. Don't just listen to people and blindly follow people. This was the problem a few years ago. I can't believe people did it, but people with the most followers, people just did whatever these influencers did, and then a lot of people got burned, and now people are salty. So once again, I always tell people, listen to everybody, but follow no one.
You know, I have friends that are financial advisors, and there
Yeah.
are people with significant portfolios that want to ask them a question. They put their money where they think where it should go, and the person who's doing the investing, they're not asking any questions. So I think that mindset is, we all know there's work involved, and where you're going to put funds. It's easier to listen to someone, but I would back you up on that. I always say research. Find out what you want to invest in, flip, buy, whatever you do.
And don't buy the
confident
hype.
in yourself.
Exactly, and don't buy the hype. I'd tell people, if it was me, I would rather buy fear and then sell greed, or buy things that no one's looking at, which you think is going to go up. And don't over leverage yourself.
I want to try to do like
we were talking at the Delmar show the other day.
Yeah.
The Topps 2003 LeBron James was one time a $300 car. And a very nice grade. That was a $300 car. Just think about that. Now that's a PSA 10 is a $12,000 car. At one point, it went up to $50,000 car.
Yeah.
So things change. We're talking about grading companies on here today. This is the value of cars. There's $1 million car sitting in this building that somebody's probably walking by like, you just never know, man. But sir, I appreciate your time and you being on here. I really appreciate doing What's the Play live with you being the guest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir. But thank you very much. Yeah. Again, whenever I can get on with you, I'm excited to.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother.
All right, see you.
You have a good one, man.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We usually use the phone?
We usually use the